Proclamation. Whereas great numbers of His Majesty's subjects within this province, as in many other of the colonies of North America, have been incited and deluded by the flagitious artifices of certain wicked, ill-designing, and traitorous incendiaries to array themselves in arms to levy rebellious war against the King, and to deny, oppose, and resist the laws and constitutional rights and authorities of His Majesty and Parliament of Great Britain, notwithstanding the most gracious and indulgent invitations and inducements which His Majesty in His great goodness has been pleased from time to time to hold forth to them, to engage them to return to their duty and to the enjoyment of those envied rights, and that inestimable happiness which so preeminently distinguished the condition of British subjects from that of all other people of the known world. And whereas this infatuated people, instead of being reclaimed to their duty by such manifestations of His Majesty's tender forbearance to punish, and of His royal disposition to mercy and forgiveness, have been impelled by the delusions of their traitorous leaders rashly and insultingly to reject all the generous advances to accommodation that have flowed from the justice, moderation, and tenderness of the King, and ungratefully as absurdly to ascribe the same weakness and want of power to chastise their disobedience and to maintain the constitutional rights heretofore claimed and exercised over the said colonies. And whereas they have proceeded in a succession of violence beyond detail to wage war and to involve themselves in a complicated guilt of treason and rebellion against their sovereign and the state, it has become the indispensable part, and is therefore the determined purpose of government, to pursue the most vigorous and effectual measures for the suppression of such unnatural and unprovoked rebellion. The revolt of this province and so many of His other Majesty's American colonies, at first glossed over with shallow pretexts of procuring redress of imagery and grievances, and marked with the lavish professions of duty and loyalty to the King, now past all disguise to its end and object, is declared by every violent act of open rebellion and the design of its flagellates conspirators who have fomented this unnatural rebellion manifested, if not avowed, is to sever these colonies from their relation to and dependence on the imperial crown and state of Great Britain, with vain intent to establish independent empire. And in prosecution of this atrocious attempt, no illusion, no art of seduction has been left unpracticed, no violence undone. And whereas the regular administration of justice and the course of law is obstructed and overthrown by the machinations of the rebellion in this province, and that many of the titular magistrates therein lawfully appointed are now leagued with the rebels, and do employ the power and authority with which they are invested by their offices to the perversion of justice and the oppression of His Majesty's liege subjects. And whereas it is expedient in the present state of things to obviate the mischiefs that may accrue from the perversion of justice by the civil magistrates now in office, and for the maintenance of order, as well as to support the measures necessary to be taken for the suppression of the present horrid and unnatural rebellion, that some mode of established for distribution of justice and for the protection of the innocent and punishment of the guilty, I do hereby, in virtue of the power and authority invested in me by His Majesty's Royal Commission, under the Great Seal of Great Britain, publish, proclaim, and order the use and exercise of the law martial within and throughout this province for so long time as the present unhappy state of disorder shall necessarily require, whereof all persons are hereby required to take notice and govern themselves accordingly, as well to maintain order and regularity among the peaceable inhabitants of this province, as to resist, encounter, and subdue all rebels and traitors within the same. Given under my hand and the great seal of the said province on board the Snow Peggy in Cape Fear River this 7th day of April 1776, and in the 16th year of His Majesty's reign. Josiah Martin. God save the King.